anyone else not from 125? Where are you guys from?
73?
173?
Yeah,
Everyone else 173? Anyone not 173?
225.
Oh, CS 225? ECE 220? Was that advertised in your class? Or you just kind of signed up?
I just saw it on the website.
Okay. That professor didn't email us back. So it's kind of sad. But this is CS 126, the honor section for CS 125. It is 1 credit hour class. And does anybody know anything about this class already? Maybe look at the website.
It's a lot more work than 1 credit hour.
Who told you that?
Everybody.
Maybe. We're trying to make it like more consistent work hours, but yes, there's like usually like a little bit more than like standard 1 hour class. We think you guys can handle it. It won't be like anything obnoxious, like 10 hours a week for like 1 credit hour class. But basically the idea is like we give you like a high cap to like grow. So if you want to like just sink a lot of time in this class, you can. If you don't have like 10 hours a week to do it, you don't have to do 10 hours a week. So that's kind of the goal. So being the honor section for Intro to Computer Science is kind of rough, because if you're in the Intro to Computer Science class, you probably have either not really done computer science before, or you haven't done it like well enough to like proficiency out, or you didn't feel confident enough. So the position we're in to like present content is a little harder, because you have to assume like almost no background in computer science. But with that, we kind of ramp you guys up quick, and then we get into like some pretty cool and interesting things, and then we give you some hands-on experience in the class with some cool projects and working as a team with people. And also this class is for students by students. We all taken the course before, all the course staff. There's some course staff here. Raise your hands. And then Allegra right there taught it last year, last 2 semesters, I guess, and has been on it since forever. I took it fall 2016, so I've been here for a while too. It was a really fun class when I took it, and everyone here is in here because we really enjoy the class, and it was like very formative for, I guess, our like CS careers and college careers. You make a lot of friends in this class, and it's kind of like a different environment because it's by students. It's a little more informal and a little bit more like hands-on, and when you guys complain, we can feel that because we also complain in our courses. So that's that. This is me. This is like a simple slide. I'm 21. I grew up in Illinois in like cornfields. So if anyone else is from there, shout out. Nice. I've worked at like Capital One in this startup called JustWorks in New York. Don't know what I'm gonna do after school yet. And if you guys have any questions, just feel free to hit me up.
Okay, so I'm Prithvi. I'm going to be leading the course with Josh, and so I'm 20 and I'm from Naperville, or Chicago. So some of the things I like to do in my free time, I guess, are play video games, play basketball, and weightlift. And this past summer, in this upcoming summer, I'll be working at Amazon. And I'm legally blind, so I apologize if like you're raising your hand and asking a question that I don't see you. Just apologizing in advance. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me on Slack, Piazza, or my email.
And so the way this course is going to go, we're not going to sit here and run through like the entire syllabus, but the kind of general gist of like what the course is. We'll give you some like pre-lecture notes so that we don't have to sit there and tell you like this is a list, or this is what it looks like to do a list in Python, or do a for loop. We kind of want to like get some of that out of the way, and the lectures will be a little more hands-on. We'll give you problems, and we'll kind of go over them as a class. You'll work on them with a group, and this way you guys can like struggle through the problems in the class, and then also when you go into your homework, you'll feel a little more confident about how to tackle the homework, and maybe like you don't feel like you haven't seen this before. And then the other main part about the course that is the interesting part is projects. So it's the bulk of your grade. It's like 60% of your grade is your projects. So how it works is week 3, you will get assigned a group, and then you will get assigned a PM as well. And this PM will help you decide what you want to do for the semester for your project. You can do literally anything. We have funds to buy hardware. If you want to do like VR, you can do VR. If you want to do like something you need like AWS for, we can get you like money for AWS. Whatever you want to do, we can do it. And we have PMs that are pretty much experienced with like all areas of CS. And this is going to be the thing to worry about the most and not stress too much about the homework. The homework is just kind of like augmentative, kind of building up some basic skills, but the projects is going to be the like bread and butter of the course. And so, like I said, you'll meet with your group for a week, one time a week. You can meet more if you want. Some groups do. You don't have to meet. You meet at least 1 hour a week, but if you want to meet more, some groups worked on it for like 4 hours a week every Sunday last semester. And we'll be doing these groups kind of like how internships work in like real life. You'll have you'll use GitHub properly. You'll use PRs, and that way you don't have like you're not pushing the master working on one computer. It'll be like a true collaborative project. You'll be using a Scrum board to manage like who's doing what tasks, what needs to get done, what has been done, who needs to get reviewed, or who's getting blocked by who. So it'll be a pretty good experience with like working on an actual project. And then the PM will be also industry standard. You have a PM in real life too, but your PM in here will be a student who's taking the course. And not only will it be your PM, it'll be kind of your mentor as well, because they've been through the course. They might be able to help you with like homework, or maybe like classes, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the end of the semester, you'll have a final projects, like science fair-esque day, where we go around, we judge your projects, but then you also get to see like everyone else in the class, like what they worked on for the entire semester. And so for the homework part of the class, in the beginning it'll be like problems of the day. We're trying this out this semester. You'll have like maybe 1 to 2 like very short problems for about 3 weeks in the beginning of the semester. And this is to help you like get ramped up with using Python pretty much every day. If you haven't used Python before, it will be a challenge. If you haven't used Python before, this would be like a good experience to like learn it. Doing something every day really helps it like burn into your memory. And then after that, we'll be doing like applications with Python. So we'll be doing like the strong parts of the Python language. So we're not just gonna be sitting here teaching you like how to do something every other language can do like very well. We're gonna be teaching you like what Python does best, and that's gonna be probably longer homeworks. They're not gonna be the problem of the day format, obviously. So stuff like using like building a backend for like a web app, doing some like Python has great library support, so you'll be using like APIs. You'll be using like machine learning libraries, data science libraries, stuff like that.
So like as Jess was saying, it's more of like a departure from like previous semesters where we had like interview style problems or like there's a lot of busy work problems that you could easily just like Google the solution to. This semester we're doing like shorter problems and just like do the problem in a day type format. But stuff that you wouldn't have to spend very much time on, we're trying to make the focus of the course just on the project rather than on the homework. So problems should be relatively easy. If you read the lecture notes, participated in the class lecture, they shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. And we'll only be doing them for the first 3 weeks. So like when you really get started with your projects, you won't also have to worry about the homeworks as well. That's it.
And so for your dev environment for this course, past semesters we didn't really like do anything, but this semester we're trying out a VM, so everyone gets experience with using like Linux and Bash. In the past semesters we had kids that they had problems with the homework, but mainly because it was like they had the wrong version of Python installed or conflicting versions of Python installed. and we had to help them on like whatever machine they were on, however they installed Python. And then for projects, it was kind of a hassle because some people are using Windows, some people are using Mac, some people are using Linux, and having all these different operating systems, it was like kind of hectic for projects. But having everyone on one project, for having them on one OS is like pretty useful. Using Linux and Bash as your dev environment will also just kind of like make you a better programmer if you get in the swing of it. When you get to like classes like 241, you'll be like using that all the time. 225 is kind of getting into Bash, it seems like, and then just like programming on Linux is very nice because it gives you like a powerful environment to develop in. It's kind of the go-to one. And Duke here is gonna like go through a walkthrough on how to do the virtual machine. So if you have your laptops, you can bring them out. The guide is also going to be online somewhere.
As in this slide, if you want me
You don't have to join the Slack first.
Yeah, and in the meantime, while Duke is like setting up his stuff, there is a Slack on the course website. If you just Google CS186 Illinois, there's a link to the Slack. That's where we'll be doing the project communication for the semester. And then there's also a link to the Piazza. And the Piazza is for mainly homework questions and some course announcements, but we'll probably also mirror them on Slack.
Can everyone hear me? Okay, so hello everyone, my name is Duke. I'm one of the instructors for this course. And this semester, unlike previous semesters, we'll be having everyone work using something called a virtual machine. So a virtual machine, as contrasted with a physical machine, is an emulation of a physical computer. So it's a simulation of a real computer that's being run on your computer, and we can have this simulation be of whatever computer that we would like. So some of you might be running Windows, some of you running OS X, some of you running Linux. For the sake of uniformity, and because you'll be using mostly Linux in your careers, we're just going to have everyone run a Linux virtual machine. This has been made very easy by things like VirtualBox and distributions of images for these computers that are online. And we'll just like go through a quick tutorial of like how to install VirtualBox, how to install the virtual disk image, and how to set up Linux on your machine. And assuming everyone will be on Slack shortly. Can you or Josh post this guide on Slack?
It should be on the Slack.
So a copy of this document will also be on the general channel of the Slack once you join it. It is CS196 spring 2019.slack.com. Or perhaps more recently, you just go to cs196.cs.illinois.edu, which is our course website. Yes, and it'll just be under Slack here. Yes.
I think that you guys have to invite us to the
Yeah.
workspace.
Yeah, my
Does
password.
it not work anymore?
And we're like, if we click on it, we don't have an
Yeah, we
invite,
don't
so we
have
can't sign in.
logins, so.
We can figure that out later, I guess. I can post on the Piazza too, if you guys are on the Piazza. That's kind of weird.
Well, in any case, let's just get started with how to install VirtualBox. So VirtualBox is something called a hypervisor, which means that it's a tool where you can start downloading, setting up, and running these virtual machines. There are several platforms for hypervisors. For example, Windows has its own. There is VirtualBox, which we're going to use this class, and VMware, which is a separate product by a separate company. We're going to install VirtualBox by going to their website in the download section. So virtualbox.org/wiki/downloads. Is everyone there? Can I get like a thumbs up once you're finished with the current step? Some confused looks, some thumbs up. Okay, it looks like we have at least half and half. So go to the appropriate installation link. So if you're running Windows, click this window hosts link. If you're running OS X, do that one. If you're running Linux, it varies by distribution, but we just click the appropriate link. So for me, I'm running Linux, so click here. This will give you an install link. So just install that, follow the appropriate steps for your operating system. And let's reconvene whenever it has that finished. And if anyone has any questions with any of these steps, feel free to raise your hand now.
Do you have to download like your version? Because I had that thing for like over a year and a half on my laptop. Can I just leave it? Alright.
Okay, now while that's installing, I'm just going to go over our intuition for why we have to make you go through this extra work of installing a virtual machine. So the reason we're using this, as documented in this document, is that students in the past have used a variety of different setups. Some people install Python using Anaconda. Some people install Python using the python.org installation link. People are running different operating systems, different versions of those. Some people have weird configurations for the environment variables. And so debugging this and installing packages uniformly across all these can be a bit difficult. And so that our core staff members can assist you more easily. And we can give you help over the internet, like over Piazza. Giving a single unified environment makes it a lot easier to do that. Also, working with virtual machines is a good tool since a lot of the tools you'll be using in industry, like AWS or Microsoft Azure, those are based on virtual machines, and you should know how to interact with those.
I'm trying to install it, but it gives
downloading it? Can we get a thumbs up, thumbs down?
Does anyone have any problems on Mac? Everyone's good.
Alrighty, next, so assuming everyone has OpenBox installed or is on their way to installing that. Next, we're going to talk about downloading the Debian VDI. So a VDI is, or a virtual disk image, is a digital replica of the hard drive. So in your computer, you have a hard drive that where there is a bootable operating system and some files that come with it. A VDI is a file that you can load into your virtual machine that acts like a bootable CD or DVD drive. And so basically this is the same thing as a bootable USB or bootable CD, DVD. And it will have the instructions for installing the operating system on there. And these VDI files are available for every flavor of Linux as well as Windows. We're going to download that from a website called OS Boxes. So go to osboxes.org/Debian. That's DEBIAN. And we're going to be using this newest release, Debian 9.5 Stretch, and the VirtualBox link. And we're going to be downloading the 64-bit version. So once you're on this page, click the download link for VirtualBox VDI 64-bit. And this will give you a compressed file. This can take a little while, so I'm just going to give you a few minutes to do that stuff. Once you've downloaded this file, it should appear in your downloads folder or wherever your downloads go. And it'll look something like this with the name 9564.7z. This is a zip file, so it's a compressed file, so that it can be sent over the internet more easily. However, you can't use this file to install the operating system just yet. You'll need to uncompress this file. There's several ways of doing it. You can search on Google or your preferred search engine for how to uncompress a file. For Linux, we can just use 7ZR, which is the 7-zip unzipping utility. For Windows, you can use WinZip, I think. And for Mac, it's called an archiver. So just use the unzipping utility for your operating system to unpack this into a VDI file. If anyone has any questions, this is probably one of the more confusing steps.
So I just click on it and
by show of hands, who's finished, who's still working?
What do we do if we're still working?
Yes.
Still work?
Yes, still work, yeah. Okay, I'm going to do that most of you are finished at this point. If anyone has any questions, raise your hand or please. Okay, so moving on. At this point, you'll have a VDI file, which is the disk image, and you'll have VirtualBox, which is the hypervisor. And now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a virtual machine using VirtualBox. So first of all, you have to launch VirtualBox. You know, launch it from the command line, launch it however you like. And so it'll pop up this dialog. So this is the menu. I have the VM for this class already, just because I had to have reference while writing this up. But what you want to do is you want to go to New. You'll name it CS196, and it'll be running Linux. With Debian 64-bit. Again, if you're not, if you missed some step earlier on, this guide is on the internet. This guide is on Piazza and probably Slack eventually. So once you type in the name CS196, the OS type being Linux, and the version Debian 64-bit, press next. I'll name it CS196 copy, because I already have a version already. We want to keep the default memory size, so this is the size of the hard drive that we're giving this virtual machine. This is memory on your physical hard drive that is being given to it as a virtual hard drive. And so your VM can talk to this hard drive as if it was a physical one, and programs running on the virtual machine can't tell the difference. So this looks to it like a physical hard drive. It just exists on your physical one as just an allotment of memory. So the default of 1 GB should be plenty for your uses for this class. So just click next. And then hard disk. We're going to use an existing virtual hard disk. And here you'll want to go to your downloads folder and click the Debian VDI file from earlier. Is everyone following along so far? Okay. And so it should appear here. It should say Debian 9.5 64-bit.VDI. It'll say the size here. And then click Create. This will create the virtual machine. And ideally, you should get an entry here that says CS196 with the Debian logo. It should say powered off. If anyone isn't getting that, please raise your hand.
I think a lot of us are just downloading Debian right now.
It's taking that long.
It's a
like
GB.
1 gig. Still down. I'm like halfway done.
Yeah. Not even close to half.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's at like 2 hours initially. Now it's going down to like 19.
You have to download it on our server. So you have to go to the App Store. And then you have to download that.
Alright, so looks like a large portion of you have the virtual machine installed and running. So even for those of you who don't have it installed yet, just like follow these instructions, and then hopefully you have finished by next lecture. Those of you who have it installed, just click Start on the VM, and it'll pop up a window. This is virtual machine. It'll have the Debian logo on it.
What is it? That's for today? Is that it for today?
That's all for today. Like, we'll go over like how to use this and like how to Python for next week.
What's the registration?
That's any questions.
So, registration will open this here, like, that's not on us, for the open still. But, I'll be posting first for the lecture notes, which I guess I'll take with that, I guess, while we're waiting. Okay. So, right now, as some of you may noticed, my registration isn't open for the course yet. It'll open here in a week. It'll open here at some point in this week. So just be on the lookout for that. Yeah, and so as we mentioned, we'll be doing pre-lecture notes. So I'll be posting the pre-lecture notes to the website in Piazza at some point here later today. So be on the lookout for that. This week's pre-lecture notes will be significantly longer than like all the following week's pre-lecture notes because it's going to be on the basics of Python. So don't be afraid of the long pre-lecture notes this week. They'll be a lot shorter in the future. So they'll be available there. Have them read by next week, and next week we'll start going into Python. So all we're doing this week is just setting up the VM. Yeah. So also this course wasn't pitched in EC 220 or 126 or many of the other courses. So if you have any friends that might be interested in taking the course, let them know because registration hasn't opened yet. So there's going to be plenty of seats. So yeah.